Welcome back, friends, to Dennis Simplifies. In this third database session, we are going to go through how to solve a question with the data that was provided us during our previous session. So, if you haven't watched our previous videos yet, please go back and then watch them so that you get yourself abreast with the data we'll be using. So sit back, relax, and let's simplify. So we are going to open the database we created in our previous videos. Okay, and then the question we are going to be solving in this video. So here it is. Assuming the retirement age is 60, list the names of employees who have retired or are due for retirement. So we are supposed to find the age, the names of the employees who have retired or are due for retirement if the retirement age is 60. Meaning, if an employee is at the age of 60, it means that employee is due for retirement. And if the employee is past the age of 60, then it means that employee have already retired. So you are looking for employees with their age beginning from actually 60 upwards, right? So let's go to our database and then let's see what we can do here. So we are going to go down here. So with the first question, we are going to select, since we are supposed to find the names of the employees, we are going to select the first name. So we are using the employee table, right? So we're going to select the first name, the last name, the middle initial, and then the date of birth of this employee from the employee table that we created. Now, what are we looking for? We are looking for employees on this table whose age is 60 and upwards. So we are going to say that where the date difference, meaning their date of birth, their date difference. Now, even when you say date difference, date comprises of so many things: the month, the day, and then the year. So we're going to say when the year function, right? And the difference between the date of birth, the birth date, that is the B date, and the get date, that is today's date. So we are computing for the difference between the person's date of birth and today's date. If the difference is greater than or equal to 60, then this employee is part of the employee names that we want. That means this employee has retired or is due for retirement. So this is what we actually want from the database. So that's our first question. Now, so let's actually, let's continue. We come back and then we run all of them. So let's go to the top to our second question. List all employees who have been going on retirement. Who will be going on retirement in 2025. So we want employees who will be going on retirement in 2025, meaning we are looking for employees who will be 60 years in 2025. So the same thing, we are selecting the first name, the middle initial, and then the last name from the employee table we created, and then we're going to say where the date difference, that is the year and then the birth date. If the difference between the birth date and 2025, so we are starting from the birth date, and 2025 is equal to 60. That is, if the difference between them, the year difference between the date of birth and 2025 is equal to 60, then this employee will be going on retirement in 2025. So we are saying that again, the date difference is a function, and we want the year difference between the date of birth and 2025. If it's equal to 60, then this employee is going on retirement. Now to the third question. Determine how many employees are older than their supervisor. Now, in order to know who a supervisor is and who an employee is, we must know that the employees data that was given, some of the employees are supervisors and some of them are just normal employees. To make this clearer, let's do some running over here so that you see what I'm talking about. So let's say use Dennis, okay, and execute. Alright, so now let's go down here and select from the employee table that we created. So let's select everything here. Now from the table here, what do you see? You can see that these are the normal employees, right? And we have the SNIT number. We also have the super SNIT, that is the supervisor's SNIT number. Now anytime you see now at the supervisor's SNIT number, it means that that particular employee has no supervisor. So Jared D. James has no supervisor. When an employee has no supervisor, it means that that employee, him or herself, is a supervisor. Now, when you see here, you can see that John C. Jones, right? He has a supervisor of 1111110, meaning that John C. Jones is not a supervisor, but he has been assigned a supervisor. So you can see that the super SNET number, that's his supervisor's SNET number, and then this is his SNET number, right? So he has been assigned a supervisor. And again, if you come, you can see now over here for Ivan E. Wallace. Ivan E. Wallace has no supervisor because he himself is a supervisor. So when you have a supervisor, you yourself cannot be a supervisor. So that's how it is. So now let's go to the question and see how it is. So with the third question, you're supposed to count or find the number of employees who are older than your supervisors. So to do that, we are going to count. So we find out how many. So it says select count as number of older than supervisor. That means we want the number of employees who are older than their supervisors. You can name it anything. Then we know the employees are in two forms. We have the normal employees and the supervisor employees. So we say from employee alias normal and employee alias supervisor. We have two forms of the employees. We are going to say that where a normal employee with a SNET number has been assigned a supervisor with a SNET number. So where that employee has a supervisor, and that normal employee's date of birth is less than the supervisor's date of birth, then we can see that employee is older than the supervisor. Why? A person who is born in the year 2000 is older than someone who was born in 2020, because the person who was born in the year 2000 has his date of birth lesser than the one who was born in 2020. That's how we do it. So when the normal employee has been assigned a supervisor, then it means that if that employee's that employee's date of birth is less than the supervisor, then he or she is older than the supervisor. All right. Now the next one is that list the age difference between all employees and their supervisors. Now we know who supervisors are, right? So let's see how it is here. So for the fourth one, we say that select the normal employee's name as employee number, then select the supervisor's name, first name as supervisor name. Then we are taking the absolute value of the difference between the normal employee's date of birth and the supervisor's date of birth. So we say absolute value of the date diff. We want the year difference between the normal employee's date of birth and the supervisor's date of birth, right? So when we know the difference between them, now we are taking it as the age difference. The difference between the normal employee date of birth and the supervisor's date of birth as the age difference. From where? From the employee alias normal and employee alias supervisor. We know that the employees are in two forms. We have the supervisor ones and then the normal ones. We're going to say that where that employee has been assigned a supervisor. So where that employee has a supervisor, we want to know that this employee, what is the difference between his age and his supervisor's age, right? So where that employee has been assigned a supervisor, we want to do this. Now the last thing to do is that we are supposed to list the names of all supervisors and their ages. So to know the names of all the supervisors and their ages, we know from the table here that a supervisor is someone whose super SSN is what is now, right? Because if you're a supervisor, you cannot supervise yourself. So a supervisor is somebody whose super SSN is now. So that's what we're going to use over here. We're going to select the first name, the middle initial, and the last name, and then take the absolute value of the date difference. You're taking the year difference between the date of birth and today's date. So if you take the difference between today's date and the person's date of birth, take the difference between them as the person's age. So as the supervisor age, take the absolute value of the difference between the birth date and today's date. You're taking the year difference between them as the supervisor age, right? From the employee table where the super SSN is now. You can see that each employee whose super SSN is now is a supervisor. So where it is what? It is now. Alright, I've been talking too much now, so now let's run them to see how it is. So let's start from the top. So from the top, that is the first question. We want to select the employees who are on retirement and who are due for retirement. So I'm going to execute it, and you can see that we have about 15 of them who are on retirement and the rest who are due for retirement. That's for the first question. And for the second question, we have select everything here. So those who are going on retirement in 2025. So if I execute it here, you can see that we have no employee going on retirement in 2025. Then let's move on to the third one. We want to count the number of employees who are older than their supervisors. So I select everything. And then I execute. So you can see that the number of employees who are older than their supervisors is 16. Right? We have 16 of them being older than their supervisors. And again, the fourth one, I'm going to select everything again and then execute. And you can see that this one is supposed to find the difference in ages between the employee and the supervisor. So you can see that this is the employee's name and this is the name of his supervisor, and this is their age difference. Again, we have the employee name and this is the name of his supervisor and their age difference, as you can see. So it goes down to the last employee and his supervisor. So you have the employee's name and then his supervisor's name, and then you have their age difference here. And then the last one over here is that you're supposed to find all the supervisors and then their ages. List all of them. So I'm going to highlight this one also and then execute it. So you can see that out of the employees, Jared is, I think, the second oldest. No, it's the third oldest. So you can see all the supervisors here with their middle initials and their last names and then their ages, right? Okay, so let's see if there is any other question to answer. So that's actually it, right? So friends, we have gone through the questions successfully. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please give a comment in the comment section about any question or a suggestion, or just leave something in the comment section. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, Apatia.